Hello guys, welcome to our Art Science Gallery channel. Today I shall tell that today elements of weather and climate part 2 I explain to you all. So, weather and climate. Last episode I explained that weather and climate part 1. Today I shall be explain weather and climate part 2. So, today in this part 2 topic we shall study that first atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the force exerted by the air of the Earth's surface. It's measured in millibars by an instrument called a barometer. This instrument is a barometer. The name of the instrument is barometer. The barometer is used to record atmospheric pressure on a graph paper. At sea level, it is about kg per centimeter square. Like temperature, atmospheric pressure, it is also known as distributed uniformly over the earth. Next, we will study the pressure belts of the earth. This is the pressure belts of the world. First, we measure pressure belts on the earth are formed either due to temperature condition or because of the earth rotation, so that air piles up or is blown away. So our first is thermal pressure belts. The equatorial low pressure belts lies in between 5 degree north and 5 degree south of the equator. Temperatures in this region are very high. As a result, air gets heated, expands, become light and rises. Its ascent creates a low pressure belts, which we also call doldrums. Next, polar right pressure belts are formed around the North Pole and South Pole that are always intensely cold. The air descends here because it is cold, heavy and creates high pressure in the area. And the other pressure belts are subtropical high pressure belts are formed due to sinking of the equatorial air. It rises above the equator, cools down, and then it flows towards 30 degree north and 30 degrees south and descends. And next is subpolar temperate low pressure belts are formed near the Arctic and Antarctic circles at 60 degree north and 60 degrees south. Cold polar winds meet the warm western lights which blow from the subtropical high pressure belts. Now we will study that horizontal movement of air of winds. The horizontal movement of air from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure, caused by uneven heating of Earth's surface by the sun. Cooler, more dense air has higher pressure belts and sinks. Warm, less dense air, lower air pressure and rises. The hot air rises and the cold air sinks. The vertical rising and sinking of the air known as the air current. However, the winds is caused by differences in atmospheric pressure on the Earth's surface as air moves from a high pressure area to a low pressure area. Winds always blow out from areas of high pressure towards area of low pressure. Now, in our world, we have different winds. So we have 4 types of winds. This is our 4 types of winds. The 4 main types of winds are planetary, mean permanent and seasonal winds, periodic winds and local winds. First we study on periodic winds. Periodic winds blow from a certain period in a particular direction. Land and sea breezes, mountain and valley breezes, etc. are periodic winds on a small scale. Monsoon are also periodic winds on a large scale. Just an example of periodic winds are land and sea breeze, monsoon winds and mountain and valley breeze. Just I tell now. Next is permanent winds. Permanent means planetary winds. Permanent winds are periodic winds which are also called planetary winds. They blow in a certain direction permanently all around the earth. Just an example, trade winds, western lights and polar winds. Next is local winds. Local winds Regional winds influence a particular area and properly known as their local names. For instance, Lu is hot and dry wind that blows in northern plains of India in summer. There are other local winds in India such as Nor'wester or Kalboshaki in West Bengal, mango showers in Tamil Nadu, etc. The local winds example just as Lu in India, Fohen in Alps in Europe, Chinnu in Rocky Mountains of North America, and Harmattan in African Sahara. Next is variable winds. Variable winds often change direction. Cyclones and anticyclones are examples of such winds. Variable winds which blowing for a short duration and changing their directions and speed frequently. Just as cyclone and anticyclone. Next we study as precipitation. Water droplets suspended in the clouds join together, grow in size and float in the air. When air cannot hold them, they fall under the force of gravity as raindrops. The process is called precipitation of condensed water droplets. Just as rain, drizzle, snow, sleet and hail and are the different forms of precipitation. Next is just a when water droplets fall in the earth's surface, it is known as rain. Very small raindrops which occur under condition of gentle winds are known as drizzle. When the temperature of air is below freezing point, condensation occurs in the small of ice crystals to combine to fall as snow. When rain and snow fall together, it is called sleet. Tiny ice crystals in the air may melt and falls as rain. When a blast of air moves upwards and pushes a cloud containing raindrops to higher altitudes, they freeze from ice pellets as they fall. They further condense a layer of water around them. This layer of water gets frozen when it is lifted up into the air again by a drift of rising air current, which repeated lifting and failing the pellets grow in size and falls an hailstone or hail. Next, we can study types of rainfall. We have three types of rainfall. First is convectional rainfall. When mass of air comes into contact with the heated surface of the earth, it is also gets warm to rise in the form of vertical air currents after reaching the upper layers of the atmosphere. The hot air expands and loses heat. It cools, condenses and forms cumulus clouds. You can know that rainbows are caused by refraction and internal reflection of light from the sun. In the raindrops, each raindrops act like a tiny prism which breaks up white light into several primary colors of the rainbow. So this is the how form of a rainbow. Next, we shall study a orographic rainfall. The other name of orographic rainfall is relief rainfall. When moisture-laden winds are obstructed by a mountain or relief barrier, they are forced to rise along the mountain slope. As the air rises upwards, it cools down. This is followed by condensation and precipitation in the form of relief rainfall. The windward side of the mountain is the side facing the moisture-laden winds. The other side, the leeward side, gets lesser rain. The area on the leeward side of mountain is said to be rain shadow area. For instance, Pune lies in the rainbow shadow area of the western Ghats and the gets lesser rain of the Malavishwa, which lies on the windward side of these mountains and gets more rain from the southwest monsoon winds. Next, we shall study cyclonic rainfall. The other name of cyclonic rainfall is frontal rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall is free of relief barriers, convectional air currents. Winds converge towards the low pressure center from all sides. When cold and warm air currents meet, warm air being lighter rises above the cold air. The plane where the two different bodies of air meet is called the front. The warm air cools on rising and condenses along the path of cyclone. It is accompanied by thunder and lightning. Such rain is called cyclonic or frontal rainfall. That way I say. Next, we shall study What is a cyclone? In this picture you can know that it is a cyclone. Cyclones are formed by the wind circulation around a low pressure area. Strong winds in spiral motion moves towards the center of or eye of the cyclone. What is the eye of the cyclone? The eye of the cyclone is a region of very lower pressure accompanied by the clear skies with warm calm temperatures. This is called the eye of the cyclone, which is in the center of the cyclone. Vortex is the region of dense cloud, violent wind, thunderstorm, or territorial rain. The edge of the storm has high pressure and higher temperature with less cloud, less wind, and rain. They bring heavy rain and cause a lot of damage and to life and property. They are accompanied by heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning, storm surges, and floods. Storm surges cause maximum damage and flooding in coastal areas. They could last over a week and are often devastating. The eastern coastal district of India suffer cyclonic damage year after year. An anticyclone develops around a high pressure area which is surrounded by low pressure. An anticyclone generally brings clear blue skies and fine weather as winds blow clockwise and outward the center. What is a tropical storms? A tropical storm is characterized by rapid circulation of air mass around a low pressure center, usually accompanied by strong winds to 50 to 250 km per hour and over 1200 km wide. They are called cyclones in the Indian Oceans, hurricanes in the Atlantic, typhoons in the Western Pacific, and willy-willies in the West Australian Ocean waters. You can know that in 1999 a strong super cyclone which is caused in the Bay of Bengal in Odisha cyclone 1999. I can see this the image of the cyclone. It is 1999 the Odisha cyclone which is caused in Bay of Bengal. It is on 29 October 1999 a super cyclone from Bay of Bengal with high speed winds of 250 to 300 km per hour struck the almost 200-kilometer long East India coast of Odisha. Heavy rain poured continuously for 3 days, flooding the rivers. High sea waves, 13 to 20 feet, swept 20 kilometers inland and destroyed much of the coastal area. Tidal waves 8 meters high lashed the coast from Puri to Balashore. The standing paddy crop, fruits and vegetables were run. Thousands of cattle drawn over 200 lakh hectares of land become infertile due to the salinization caused by the tidal surge. Within 36 hours, over 10,000 people were killed, drowned in sea or in the floods. Trees were uprooted, property worth crores destroyed, and millions became homeless. The cyclone affected 18,000 villages in 6 districts of Odisha and 28 coastal towns. So this is the Odisha 1999 cyclone. In this image, it is a satellite view of cyclone in approaching Odisha. So today we shall study that elements of weather and climate part 2. So now it is completed. Next day we shall study about chemistry chapter of acids and bases. For now only, bye, and please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video.